Believe it or not, in 2015, now this is not in the United States, in Argentina, the first ever orangutan, aged 33, by the name of Sandy, what's her name?
Sandra.
Sandra was granted legal, quote, personhood by a judge in Argentina. Now, what is a legal personhood? Basically, what it is that orangutan has rights. They have a right to live in an area that is a good environment, a good climate. There's a number of things. I got to find exactly what it said, but there's a number of a list of things that the orangutan is allowed to. Entitled to rights. Some of the rights that people are allowed to receive, such as better living conditions. They're obligated to respect them and stuff like that. And this is in Argentina. So what happens after this? And the reason that came about is there's lawsuits from animal rights activists in Argentina because this zoo was closing down in Argentina. It was dilapidated. And
this orangutan had been isolated.
Yeah,
there's only orangutan.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Zoo.
There's no doubt. It sounds like that the orangutan wasn't being treated properly. No doubt.
Right.
I'm not going to say no doubt. I'm going to say the evidence was there that in Argentina it wasn't being treated the way it should have probably been treated. But to give it personhood status, what do you think about that? Those of you listeners, if you want to call in about whether or not an orangutan should have, quote, personhood status. They didn't quite make it to the status of human, but personhood status.
Yes.
What do you think about that, Todd?
Yeah, they called it a non-human person and said that it was recognized as a sentient being, which I'll tell you, I agree with it. Look,
your cats are.
Orangutans they learn things. Haven't they learned sign language? Haven't they taught them to do all sorts of things? They can use tools. They can communicate. I mean, look, there's a certain amount of sentience there. If we went to Mars, if we went to some other planet looking for life and found a being that had intelligence on par with an orangutan, we would say, oh, my gosh, it's a sentient being. How great is that? Because that's what they are. But and the court admittedly didn't call it a person, but some limited rights.
How can a creature that cannot file its own lawsuit be granted personhood status?
Or pay taxes?
Well, whatever it is. I'm saying they're not, I don't mean to be I love orangutans. They're cute. They're smart. They're all the things you said.
Well, I think that the whole point is there is no definition for person. And under our laws, we give rights to humans or mankind, or we have a lot of words for it, but persons is not legally a definition.
That's why I want to comment one thing, then talk.
Sure.
So the issue is, I think that is the middle line between us and animals. So this orangutan has moved to the next level, not quite where we are, but to the next level. And I say, is that the nose of the camel under the tent?
Could be.
Next thing I know, I'm going to be sitting on a plane, and they're going to say, excuse me, that's the seat for this donkey.
Well,
the orangutan.
Well,
the orangutan.
They already say that's the seat for this emotional support lizard or whatever.
No,
they try to do that. They've been pushing for that for emotional support animals. But I'm going to put this out there. I don't think that this is necessarily a new concept for us. I think we've been doing this in the United States for years to a certain extent. And I'll tell you why. If you look at our Constitution, which applies to persons that nobody's saying that an orangutan has constitutional rights, but let's look at the Declaration of Independence. Certain 3 inalienable rights. You have them because you exist. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Right. And everything else is a law and stuff to help protect those 3 rights that human beings have. Well, what kind of laws do we have on the states that protect animals? Animal cruelty's out.
That's my point. This is an animal cruelty case.
So animal cruelty, you can't do that. You can't have a puppy farm, for example, where they're forced to breed, they're forced to do this. We have a whole bunch of laws on the books for the protection of animals. Look at all the regulations that exist in sports like horse racing, dog racing, dog tracks, the dog fighting rings, the anti-cockfighting rings for roosters, all of those things exist. Well, because I think we recognize inherently that human beings aren't the only ones that maybe have a right to live, or the right to pursue what we would call happiness, or even the right to liberty in the sense that you're not being forced to go in there. It's a limited right. It's limited for the animals, but it's something we've been doing in the United States for years.
So what you're saying is this judge came to this conclusion because there wasn't a specific law she could cite.
Absolutely.
So what about
that.
the cow? Does the cow have a right not to be killed and eaten?
Well,
No.
like I said, they have a limit.
I'm just throwing it out.
They have a limited right.
What's their right then?
So,
like the orangutan?
Yeah, they have limited rights. So animals can be raised for food. They can do that. I always look, for example, at the 3 rights: life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I look at those as being in a specific hierarchical order. I think they are listed in that order for a reason, because life is, you can't have liberty without life, and you can't have the pursuit of happiness without liberty and without life. So life has to come first. And anytime there's a conflict with 2 people trying to assert their rights, I think you look and you say, well, which person is asserting a right, and which one is asserting one that may a right to pursuit of happiness versus the right to life? Well, I think the right to life would trump the pursuit of happiness. When it comes to food and being able to do that with animals, well, people got to eat. And so our right to life, to eat and to do that, supersedes that in the food industry. But to kill an animal for pure sport and enjoyment, no, that's why you can't
Different
do it.
story. Different issue there. So I'm going to take this down the slippery slope. So by the way, the judge is Elena Liberton is her name. And this is a quote. This is the 2015 ruling. It's declared that Sandra is legally not an animal, but a non-human person. Let me repeat that. She has been declared not an animal, but a non-human person. Okay.
Yes.
What's the difference if someone believes I know this is gruesome and weird. What if people in South America believe in the jungle that they will eat an animal, an animal such as orangutan? And what's the difference between that and a cow? All I'm trying to say is, why can't the cow be declared legally not an animal, but a non-human person? What's the difference between the cow and the orangutan?
The cow can't count. The cow can't be cute and kiss you and do stunts in movies.
Oh, I've seen some nice cute calves.
Me too. Yeah, a good point. But and the cow can't go to the DMV and get a driver's license.
No, it's because we eat cows.
Right.
Why are they going to put personhood on some kind of animal that we eat?
But
that's the reality.
You made my point exactly,
yeah.
Denise.
And
but my point
Argentina is probably one of the biggest cow producer.
Right.
They're cattle
and
country,
their meats are like exceptional.
Okay, but let me finish my point then. You bring up the exact point that I said. What if there's a country, it's a small country that's in the middle of the Amazon that eats orangutans as food? I know you give me this dirty look, but there are some that eat monkeys. They will eat monkeys.
No, they do. I've seen it on the corner in Mexico.
How does that differ?
Are they cannibals?
No.
now?
How is that different? Is what I'm asking.
So here's my question: What was Sandra, the orangutan's fate, if the court did not rule the way that it did? What was going to happen to her?
Die.
Okay, she was
No, I think another zoo would have picked her up anyway.
Okay, so the question is, what was going to happen to her? Was she going to die of natural causes, or were they going to, hey, pay-per-view, let's all go ahead and throw a rock and see how long it takes? If it's something like that, I get that for personhood. I do want to clarify one thing before we get people calling in saying, did he just say that they shouldn't be able to kill animals for sport? No, what I mean by that is in the inhumane manner, referring to dog fights. I am in no way even coming close to the debate about whether or not deer hunting or game hunting and all of that should or should not be legal. I'm not going down that road.
No, you're talking like rooster fights.
I'm talking about the illegal
like
fighting rings that are inhumane killing of animals just for the pure enjoyment. The guy that was towing the shark behind the boat, shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen.
I didn't hear about that one, but that's interesting. Isn't that an interesting topic?
It is.
That's what I'm saying is this is opening up a can of worms is the way I'm saying it, because when you declare Sandra not an animal but declare her as a non-human person, we've now taken the next step from animal to in between that and a human. So we're not there yet.
Only if it impacts U.S. law.
No, it doesn't at this point.
It doesn't because...
why did we bring that up, Denise? Because she got transferred. By the way, happy days. She's in Florida at a wonderful zoo. They're taking care of her.
And with 21 other orangutans.
And she's having a great life. So, I'm all for these cute little animals, but I'm just saying I like to throw out controversy. We'll be back. We're going to talk more about Sharon Stone, the rap, I guess, song. I'm not a rapper, so I don't know.